What's up, guys? Welcome to our breakdown for UFC 328. Laura Sanko, as always, and I'm joined by Dean Thomas, who is even more precious to me now because he's become a big, big star.
Stop
Big
it! Don't
star.
hey, don't play like that. I'm still ghetto. I'm still a thug.
You're
Don't get
not
it
that ghetto,
twisted.
because look, I went to Paramount Plus and I was like, oh, who dat? Who dat? On
yeah,
Deep
they
Waters
yeah they
every
done did it.
Monday.
I get it. Deep waters every
I
Monday
mean,
at noon.
look at that with your arms folded. All of you have your arms folded. Looking mean. It's you and Jorge and Chris and Dustin.
Oh man, and we have a good
What a
time too. So
squad.
we got a deep squad. It's deep waters, and we live. So make sure
I
y'all
love it.
tune in.
Yeah, it's on YouTube and Paramount Plus, which is
Yeah,
super cool. And you
yeah.
guys have been churning out some good stuff, so fun to watch. But I'm glad you get to also still be with me, so that's exciting. Real quick for everybody watching this video, Dean and I recorded this breakdown for the co-main event between Tatsuro Taira and Joshua Van when the fight was originally scheduled. So that's the breakdown that you're going to see. But before we cut to that, Dean, obviously the news since then is that fight was canceled right after we recorded it, of course, and has been rescheduled for this coming, or no, not this coming weekend, whenever UFC 320, whenever this video goes up, you guys know when 320 is happening. Does that change anything for you in terms of, like, I think Van had an injury, sounds like it couldn't have been that bad of an injury, so, because this is, what, just 4 weeks or so later, does that change anything for you?
It doesn't change anything for me in terms of what I think about the fight and the skills and how they match up. But mentally, it does change things for me in terms of Tatsuro Taira. And the reason why, so Jillian Robertson, who I coached against Amanda Lemos, went through something very similar. So she
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to fight her in December. It got rescheduled to March. Now, that is 3 months, not 1 month, but still, we were ready in December. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like
You're
we,
building to a
yes,
very
we were ready
specific
in
date.
December.
Yeah.
And then when it stops and gets rescheduled, you have to kind of, in a way, taper or
Mm-hmm.
manage and maintain a certain level of tenacity
Yes.
and weight management and all kind of different things that you weren't prepared for.
Yeah.
So for Tatsuro Taira, in a month is worse than 3 months
Because you can
because
almost start over at 3 months and just
because
be
you
like,
can
I'm
almost
going to take a break. I'm going
yeah,
to clear my mind, and then we'll just get at it again.
right. So for Tatsuro Taira, like this is a different challenge for him, and I think
Mm-hmm.
this makes it a little bit more challenging for him. But with that being said, if you are a champion and you have championship medal and you are built of what champions are made of, it shouldn't be that much of a factor. Now, if he goes out there and he looks a little flat and it has a slow start, to me that tells me that this break kind of
It's
played
effective.
with his mind a little bit and
Yeah.
he wasn't able to keep it together during this month. But we'll see. We'll find out.
I agree. We will find out. They're both young. They're both so young, you
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
don't think it'll affect them too much, but I'm excited to see the fight. So, guys, hit like, hit subscribe, keep food on our tables. We appreciate it so, so much. And here's our breakdown. Dean, big picture on this matchup. The co-main event, the flyweight title on the line. Josh Van versus Tatsuro Taira. Gonna be a good fight.
It is. It's going to be a really good fight, but I think more than anything, we should find out, and I'm hoping we do. And the problem with dealing with guys at that weight or any weight that have good power is it's hard to really tell how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
They just knocking you out, and then and not to take anything away from Joshua Van and his win over Pantoja, but like that fight never materialized at all to find out if he is championship level material. Now, obviously, against Brandon Royval, the matchup was great for him, and they slugged it out, and it was a great fight. Um, but I think Tatsuro Taira is really going to test him
Mm-hmm.
because I think Taira might be the most overall skilled fighter in the flyweight division.
Yep.
And if he doesn't get knocked out, he's going to test him.
And with youth, with a lot of youth on his side, like not a lot of tread or not a lot of wear on those tires, I should say.
No.
Yeah, it's funny because I obviously do a film study for when we do these breakdowns, and rewatching it with fresh eyes, I was reminded just how good both of these guys are. But Tatsuro Taira, like you said, such a complete fighter. It's easy to focus on the shiny thing, which is his wrestling. That's what he's amazing at. But when you try to take that out of the equation and just watch his striking's really good. Is really, really good as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he's gonna have to really be careful though, because like you don't want to get into a striking battle with a power puncher like Joshua Van, like get your lights out before you get a chance to get going. So he's got to be careful with that. But like in terms of his overall game, now like I am a really huge fan of Japanese MMA, just because like that was, in the late '90s, that was the only place us smaller fighters had to fight. So I've always been a fan of that. And Tatsuro Taira is a throwback of that. He really is. Like, he's a throwback to old school Romita Sato, old school Takanori Gomi, old school Kao Uno. Like, he's a throwback to that. And I'm just so happy that we've been able to kind of resurrect that through him.
Yeah, that's a really, really good way of looking at it. And it just feels like Japan needs its first UFC champion. I'm not discounting Josh Van when I say this, but the fact that a sport that has such deep roots in that country that has such a long legacy of martial arts within its culture hasn't had a Japanese champion. We need one.
Yeah, we need one. And I'm gonna be so happy. I'm like, if he can win the belt, I'm almost gonna claim it, because I'm like, yo, man, we did it. Shudo, we did it. We did it.
You'll have to learn how to say "we did it" in Japanese. I'll look it up.
I'm gonna learn. I gotta learn for sure. But it's so disheartening to me that the Japanese MMA scene has fell off over the years. It really broke my heart to see that, because it was so strong back when I was coming up. It really was the place to be. And I'm talking about for smaller fighters, but what everybody knows about is what Pride did.
Yeah.
Right. Like the fighting in Pride, but that was really just like a bunch of like guys on steroids, and it was like they were just in Japan doing it. But the Japanese fighters were so dominant at the lighter weights when MMA first started, and it never really materialized for the world to see. So now we got Tatsuro Taira, and then obviously Kyoji Horiguchi, but Tatsuro Taira is up next. So I'm rooting for him. I love Joshua Van, and to me, Joshua Van has got my favorite walkout of everybody. Like, his walkout song. I think he comes out to, like, what does he come out to? I can't remember. But like when the beat drops, it's hard. It's hard. But I'm rooting for Taira just because like I need to see a Japanese guy get this belt.
Yeah. Talking about the history of MMA, I mean, women's MMA got its start in Japan too. I mean, there was Megumi Fuji, the OG of the OGs.
What I say?
Adam Wade that started it all. It was close enough. I saved it. It's all good. Yeah. It's all good. So good. But yeah, if you're new to the sport, that's where the sport. I mean, obviously it started in Brazil, but there was a deep, deep history of Japanese mixed martial arts. Anyway, we digress. Before I do talk about some of these stats, because they're interesting, they're very much a dichotomy of styles. If you can, please click like, please click subscribe. Dean and I have fallen on hard times, and we could just use that. So thanks, appreciate it. All right, anyway, so
we back.
Was that good? All right. We got Joshua Van. Both of these guys are really young. I don't think I wrote down their ages though, and it's not in my stats, but young versus young. Joshua Van 16-2, Tatsuro Taira 18-1. Joshua Van 5'5", Tatsuro Taira 5'7". Oh wait, here it is. Van 24, Taira 26. I knew I wrote it down somewhere. Taira is 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. Van is 5'5" with a 65-inch reach. So a pretty significant reach disadvantage for one Joshua Van. Now, it gets very interesting when you look at some of these other stats. Significant strikes landed per minute, 8.84 for Joshua Van and 2.94 for Taira. Accuracy, 56% for Van, which is crazy when you consider that number that I just read before, 8.86 or 8.84, and 60% for Taira. Strikes absorbed for Van is 6.39, which is quite high, which tells you, I actually think some of his stats are a little bit screwy because of the Royval fight. Like that fight just threw all the statistics, it moved the bell curve. And then 2.44 strikes absorbed per minute for Taira. 57% defense for Van, which kind of conflicts with the 6.39 strikes absorbed per minute. The math is not mathing on that one, but that's what's on my sheet. 47% for Taira. Here's where it gets obviously even more different. 0.84 takedowns per 15 minutes for Van, 3.12 for Taira. Takedown accuracy, 63% for Van, 46% for Taira. Takedown defense is a big one, 81% for Van, 45% for Taira, and Taira throws up 1.6 submissions every 15 minutes. Okay, so obviously the grappling of Taira jumps off the page. But what do you like about him, Dean? What do you like, other than the fact that he's Japanese?
That's it. No, no. I just think that he's such a well-rounded fighter, and like he really takes advantage of opportunities because he has the skill to do it. So he misses a takedown, but he's still on your back. He gets on your back, he's striking, he's choking. He's got such a strong offensive skill set that's just really well balanced. It can go in many different directions, and I just love that about him. And he's young, he's fresh. He's hungry, and the fact that he lost to Brandon Royval is a benefit to me because he knew what he needed to fix, and it looked like he went back and fixed it.
Yeah.
And he's a better fighter because he lost to Brandon Royval the way he lost to him, which was a close fight.
It was.
But it was a close fight, and he was like, you know what? There's some things I got to fix. And he went back, and it looks as though he fixed it. His striking looks better now. He looks more comfortable on his feet. He looks more comfortable in transition from his feet to his takedowns. And he's doing better once he gets in those clinching positions. So he's able to turn them clinching positions into offensive opportunities for him.
That's the thing that what you said a minute ago is what jumps off the page to me is the way that he uses his striking to get to his takedowns. That middle game that is so hard for people to develop sometimes, the interstitial between striking and grappling and how they play together with one another and how you transition in and out of one, two, and four, the other. He's amazing at that. And that is absolutely something that has developed in his game, especially in the last couple of years. But that Moreno performance was just granted, he spent a large part of the first round stuck in a triangle, but he was never really super, super in danger. And you could tell that he knew it. And as soon as that second round hit, it was just one-way traffic. And to do that to a guy who has the grappling, the level of... I know we think of Brandon Moreno as a boxer, and he is.
He's a great grappler.
He is a great grappler, a phenomenal grappler. And to run through him like that and get the TKO finish was so impressive. Super, super impressive.
Yeah, I think there's a huge skill discrepancy on the floor.
Yeah.
Like really bad. And I have to say this because, the idea that Joshua Van has become UFC champion after only training for 5 years is it's remarkable.
It makes you feel bad about yourself, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I'm like, so if I don't know, I'm thinking can I do it? Maybe. But it's remarkable to do it at that weight class. Now, I would understand if it was at heavyweight. But because he's small and packs such a good punch for a little guy, he's knocking guys out. But because you know that, and that's what you need to avoid, I think that gives Taira a huge advantage. He can't get caught up in a firefight, and he's got to put this in many different areas that makes Joshua Van uncomfortable, which he should be able to find because of that skill discrepancy.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the clinch or on the ground or wherever.
Yeah. I did go back, and the fight that I really was keen on, watching intently was when Van fought Ray Tsuruya. That one was an interesting one because Ray Tsuruya was, another guy, grapple. He had 21 takedown attempts and landed 4. Josh Van anti-wrestled his ass off in that fight. And Tsuruya only ended up with 3 minutes and 49 seconds of control time. So I do think that the defense of Van is going to be, I guess I don't know. I'm interested to see how that goes. I do rate Taira's wrestling higher than Tsuruya's wrestling. But watching Van handle Tsuruya like that, I was like, okay, that's pretty impressive for someone who didn't wrestle at all before his UFC debut.
But I mean, but also too is he's built for that. Like, he's got it like at 5'5", he's stocky, he's got a low center of gravity. He's a bit like he's built kind of rounded, so you're running into his shoulders, and he's like just has these natural frames. So he's built for that. Like he's built for digging underhooks. He's built for anti-wrestling for sure. But when you're dealing with a guy like Taira, who I think is just so well-rounded and has so many different ways of getting what he wants, he should be able to chain together different things and not just like push, push, push for a takedown, but push, pull, sweep, grab here, climb here. Like there's just a lot of different ways he needs to do it. But it's going to be a matter of can he do that without taking punishment, and that's going to be Joshua Van's for me his key to success is to deliver punishment in those areas where where he's not allowing Tatsuro Taira to get off. He's got to deliver punishment and hurt him in the process.
Who you have winning this fight?
Taira.
Yeah,
I can't see him losing this fight.
just too well
I mean,
rounded.
yeah, just too well rounded. It's just this is one of them fights where it's like I think I know MMA. I think I'm pretty good at knowing what MMA is, and I'm always wrong. But the MMA gods can't allow a guy this good to lose to somebody that's that one dimensional.
Yeah, much more one dimensional. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. All right, I like it, Dean. I like it. All right, as promised, we've got some fan questions. Looks like I've got 4 or 5 of them here. Okay, 305 CSFS. Do you think, regardless of who wins the flyweight title, Pantoja's just going to come back and snag it?
You can answer that. I don't want to, I don't want to hog up the show.
I think that's a distinct possibility, but Pantoja's age is a concern to me at some point. He hasn't, and it's unfair to say that because it's just a number on a sheet of paper. We've seen Volkanovski defy the curse, but the smaller you are and the quicker you need to be, when these 20-somethings start getting real good, and Ray Suruya is a guy who could potentially really keep up with Pantoja's grappling as well. So do I think he's just going to snag it easy, come back and snag it easy? I don't know. I don't think so.
You're more optimistic than I am about that. I don't think so at all. I am not, and Pantoja is one of my favorite champions. I love his humility. I love his willingness to fight anybody. I love his warrior mentality, his attitude. I've worked with him a little bit in the past. He is a great champion, but I don't know if he's the best flyweight in the world. I don't know if he is. I think he can still prove it, but I don't think it's as easy for him to just come back. I don't know if he comes back and beats Manel Kape. I don't know if he beats Kyoji Horiguchi. I don't know if he beats Tatsuro Taira. Now, I do think he beats Joshua Van. But those other 3 guys, I'm not 100% confident that he's better than them to just say that he's going to come back and just snatch up the belt.
Yeah. Flyweight's interesting now with Horiguchi and Kape in the mix. Some fun fights there, no matter what happens at 327. All right, Jaden.B_84. Dean, will Taira be able to have enough success on the feet if he can't secure takedowns?
For a little bit, but I think that will get him in trouble. I think he can't bail on the takedown option. Like it can't be either get the takedown or strike. It has to be he has to find a way to mix takedowns into the combinations of his punches, because if he's thinking one or the other, he might get knocked out. You can't think one or the other. Takedowns have to be included into the combination of your strikes.
Yeah. All right, J Chindy 717. This is a good one for you, Dean. What will having the first Japanese champion do for the UFC?
Opens up the doors, baby. We get me some matcha tea and some sushi.
It really does, though. It sounds like such a trite thing to say, like, oh, just because there's a Japanese fighter, all of a sudden Japanese MMA is going to change. It's so true, though. Like you have to build it for them to come. Just like Michael Bisping built English MMA, and now it's not weird to see all these great UK fighters and Irish fighters, and that's an entire market that changed because of one guy. And like we said earlier in the show, Japan's an important spot. I feel like we need to get some life into the Japanese MMA scene.
Well, I think it's hard for us as Americans to understand that because as Americans, we're not as supportive of our own people
That's so true.
as other countries are of
Yeah.
theirs. If Tatsuro Taira becomes champion, Japanese MMA is back. Like they're back in the gyms. They're back doing what they're doing. I think it opens up this huge market for the Japanese to really go, we can do this again. We can get back into being contenders again. They just need that guy. And I think he might be it.
Can you imagine if he wins and then he fights Kyoji Horiguchi in Japan?
That would be crazy.
And you and I go?
That's one of them things that's really gonna to really explode for the Japanese market is having that happen.
If you and I end up in Japan calling these fights that haven't even been announced yet or not even realistic, can we please do one of those Mario Kart tours?
Hell yeah.
You see what I'm talking about? You dress up like the Mario characters and you drive your little
Yeah.
car around Tokyo. I want to do
Of course.
that. Okay.
Of course.
Princess Peach. Perfect.
I'm in. I'm in.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right. Last one from the Christian Reynoso. Given the relatively shallow 125-pound division, if Van beats Taira, do fights at 135 make sense for Van?
First, I think I know Christian. And shout out to Christian. I know him. But he's wrong. And I say that respectfully because I like him. But 125 is not as shallow as you think.
I agree.
You got Lonnie Kavanaugh, and then there's a bunch of other guys that are coming up that I think have a lot of skill and ability to really maintain some stability in the flyweight division.
I forgot about Lonnie Kavanaugh.
Yeah, so I don't think that there's a lack, and I think that we're really going to develop this division. We're really going to pay attention to it, and I don't think that there's any need for a flyweight to move up to 135.
And that's a big jump. 10 pounds means a lot more at the end of that scale than people realize. So, yeah, I agree with you. But there's a lot of fun fights at 125 that we can look forward to. Dean, thank you for your time.
Oh.
And your thoughts, and your energy, and your
Thank you for having me. I'm just glad to be back.
I'm glad to be back too. It's good to be back. And thank you guys for being back and for watching this. We promise we won't go so long, so far ever again. Keep it locked in right here. More previews as well as a bunch of other videos you can check out on the channel. And we will see you next time.